Hello, welcome to Access. I'm Rob. Joining us is Hollie.
Hey guys.
I'm very jealous of you, Hollie, because you've played 3 hours of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, I have. I've actually played the first 3 hours. And we've got loads to talk about now, which is exciting.
It is exciting, especially because we've had the news that the game's now coming out in November.
Yeah.
Which is a bit sad, but it means they're, polishing it up and making it nice and everything.
Good.
But the game is coming
Yes.
soon-ish. You've played 3 hours of
Yes.
it. You've got loads of notes you've taken. Tell me about this game. Please reassure me. Is it brilliant?
It is brilliant. I loved it. I really, really loved what I played. But before we start talking about all the details, I'm going to really avoid talking about story spoilers here, okay? So these are just gameplay things, mechanics,
Good.
bits of information. So if you're worried about me talking about the story, I'm not going to do that.
I'll be your shield, viewers who don't want spoilers, because I don't want spoilers either. Okay, let's dive into these notes then, Hollie. Where should we start? With the intro.
Well, just my intro bit is just let you know that this starts in Hammerhead. So if you've played Episode Dusky, which is what you got with Type 0,
Yeah.
This is kind of where that demo is set. This is not the same. They always sort of said that Episode Dusky wasn't really in the final game, and
Right.
it's not. They've sort of redone it all. There's some characters that will come back, but it's really not what you've played in Dusky, so you're not repeating the same thing. It felt
That's
quite
good.
refreshing.
So Duske was just a taster of what the game would feel like and look like, and it's
Yeah.
not what you'll play in the final game.
And it's come a long way. So we're going to start with rest stops.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my first point. So when you're at rest stops, you can find little radios. A bit like when you find tapes in BioShock, and they give you little snippets of what's going on in the world.
Okay, so like audio logs.
Yeah, like audio logs. And you can learn some really cool things. And in this, I did, but again, I won't say because
Yeah.
spoilers, and that would be crappy. But what you can find are the cafe owners, just like we've done when we've played Episode Dusky. And when you speak to them, they're actually like tipsters. And what they'll do is they'll take the map and they'll add things like havens, parking spots, outposts, and even little treasure maps, just like when you, like on Witcher.
So little spots on your map to push you in the right direction to find secrets in the open world, that kind of thing.
Basically. And they also have hunts. So you can get hunt marks from them. You can turn them in for gil or other rewards. And you can, when you complete them, you sort of earn stars and then you rank up. So the bigger and better the monsters that you're hunting,
Right.
The better your reward, which
So
is kind of cool.
we're thinking like the hunting log in Final Fantasy 14, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know what? It's a little bit free in that. It's not really a log because you can just sort of pick them up at
Right.
kind of random. But yes, if you've played Final Fantasy 14, to me, that's what I thought of. Also, while I was chatting to people, dialogue wheels would come up. And
Okay.
they'd be like, ask your friends, just in case you weren't confident making decisions on your own.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, accept their offer of, to help them do this, or basically tell them to go away.
Well, this is exciting. It's an exciting new level of freedom in Final Fantasy.
It is.
Just having a world map with different
Yeah.
options to choose what you want to do, when you want to do it, and dialogue wheels as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking, it's not going wild here.
No.
It's not Life is Strange.
No.
But, it did give you some freedom, which was nice, and you could earn XP through it as well, and we
Yeah.
like XP.
It sounds exciting. What's next?
The car.
You've written the car.
The
car
Regalia.
looks amazing.
It really is, and there's loads to talk about for this one. So when you're using the Regalia, you have two options when you
Yep.
select it. Manual, which means you drive it.
Okay.
And auto, which means Ignis drives it. So you get a choice.
Okay, so you can sort of just kind of sit there and bask in the scenery and not have to worry about steering.
Exactly, if that's what you want to do.
I'm going to be doing that, definitely.
But if it's nighttime and you want to drive, only Noctis can drive. And then this is the one you like. D-pad is the radio.
I've been looking forward to the radio because I've been thinking as soon as I saw it, I'm just going to be cruising around, looking at all the pretty things, listening to all of the music from all of the Final Fantasies.
So I've made a list of some of my favourite ones.
Right.
This is not everything that was on the radio when I played it.
Okay.
So we had Final Fantasy 1 main theme.
Classic.
Final Fantasy 7 Prelude, the original.
Amazing.
So actually from the soundtrack. Bombing Mission, Aerith theme.
Wow,
Final
that's-
Fantasy 10 battle theme.
That's some classic themes straight away.
Battle with Seymour, which
That's
I know
amazing.
you love.
I love that theme.
But what's great is I went to a little shop. You know when you buy potions and Phoenix Downs
Yeah.
and stuff? Well, you went over and there was like a car section. So you could buy decals for your car.
Okay.
So there's like the Beast decal, which was actually quite expensive. It's 2,000 gil. There were racing stripes.
I hope there's a Chocobo decal.
There must be. What a missed opportunity. if
Or
there's
like,
not.
decals for all the different summons.
So moving on to my next point, I've written battle.
this will be important. Battling's important in Final Fantasy. Now we've seen the battle system change from Duscae to Platinum. It changed a bit. How much has it changed since Platinum? Is that kind of like the final system we're going to be seeing?
It's so smooth.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of people compare it to Kingdom Hearts, and for some people that's great, and other people are like, well, it's not turn-based, and I still get that, but it feels like Kingdom Hearts for adults. And now that sounds daft, but it's so refined, and it was so quick, and it's something I could just jump into. I really, really enjoyed it. It's smoother again from Platinum.
Okay, that's good. I really liked it in Platinum.
I really liked it in Platinum, but it felt like it had gone to another level again.
That's good.
Which was really exciting, because Platinum demo was not about necessarily showing off Final Fantasy 15. It was a tech demo, wasn't it?
So here are all the things different. You can do.
But you can, as Noct, you can equip the following mix of weapons. So we know that on the D-pad in battle, we can switch weapons to create combos. So Noct can have swords, G-swords, pole arms, daggers, firearms, shields, machinery, royal arms, ice, fire, lightning, and wild magic. And there was one that just said, question mark.
Ooh. What could that be?
What could question mark be?
Special move that only Noct can do. I mean, that's a load of stuff you can equip anyway.
It's an incredible amount, so that you can then find the balance that works for you. So when I started, I had a sword, a G-sword, and I think had a lance. A lancer, so a pole arm, which was quite basic. However, your teammates can only have their select weapon.
Okay.
So, for example, Prompto can only have firearms. Gladio only has a G-sword. But then they can then have the ice, fire, lightning, and wild magic.
Okay.
Yeah?
That's cool.
I've read a lot of notes.
I loved the battle system before. I know that it's quite a divisive thing for Final Fantasy fans, moving away from turn-based so much, but I really like this style of combat.
I've come from 14. I play 14, so for me, I don't really feel like I'm leaving Final Fantasy, because to me, Final Fantasy, yes, it's got a lovely battle system, and we love battle, but Final Fantasy to me is, I don't think of Final Fantasy and think battle systems. I think about the adventure and the characters and the world and the music and the feelings I've had from it. I mean, the battle system doesn't make Final Fantasy.
Even it's still not like you're playing Devil May Cry, is it? It's not like a hack and slash game. There's a lot of depth to it as well. And
What happened here?
well, tell us more about the battle system, because I see you've got loads of notes there.
So so actually, there's a couple of times, 2 times actually, when I was playing, that before the battle, like the party member would grab you by the arm, pull you back, and be like, I've got a challenge for you.
Okay.
And so for this one, Gladio asked me to deal an additional 6,000 damage before a timer runs out.
Oh, no problem.
I did
Just
manage
an additional 6,000 damage.
I
No
managed
worries.
it. I basically just got a G-sword out and just annihilated everything. But you earn additional XP if you manage to complete these challenges.
Okay.
Which
That's
is quite cool.
a cool little fun
Yeah.
sort of game show task within battle.
Yeah, and if you don't want to do it, it's fine. Or if you can't do it, I had originally one from Ignis, and I wasn't able to do it, which was, it's fine. It just sort of timer runs out. You just don't get the additional XP. But it's just, a nice little something extra.
And you've got magic down here next. Now, magic is an interesting thing because before it's felt like we have items and we just throw them. They're almost like grenades, the magic. Can you elaborate on how magic works?
Yes. So you've played Final Fantasy X, right?
Yeah.
And you remember Riku's Limit Break mix?
Yeah, you just kind of like select items, mix them together, and she chucks whatever she makes at the enemy.
And that's how you do magic in Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
So it's not a limit break thing. You can literally just craft it at any point. So when you're out on the world map, there's like rocky bits everywhere, and inside those are rocks that have elements attached to them. So there's obviously fire, ice, and lightning. So you absorb these rocks. You then go to the menu. You get a vial, so you can either buy them or collect them.
This is cool. So it's almost scientific, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you have to mine the minerals and the elements.
Yep.
Make them in a test tube, and then you get a magic
And you can
spell.
lob them at people.
That is cool.
But the more element you put in, that's how you level up.
Okay.
That's how you get your like increased magic power.
So you can, if you put lots of an element in, you could get Thiraja instead
Thundara,
of... Yeah.
That's how you get them. So by adding more of the element. But just like in Riku's Mix, you can add stuff in your inventory to give it other powers and side effects. So for example, if I put in a base coin, we get additional XP.
Okay. This is cool.
And then you equip it and lob it.
So it's a fun way to almost make your own spells.
Imagine making like what you must do to make Demi,
Yeah.
Meteor, Holy. Like how do you make those? Like what recipes do you have to find to be able to get like the top tier magics?
So magic doesn't use MP. So it's not like an energy source the players have. It's actual physical things they craft and create.
And lob at people.
That's a really cool
And you
way
can
to do
obviously
it.
then, from what we've seen in the menu is you can obviously give those to your teammates as
Yeah.
well. Which
Imagine-
I think if we saw in Titan demo, I do think at one point Prompto lobbed a blizzard and everything just got really frosty.
That was great. Okay, so magic seems cool. The next thing on your list is camping.
Yeah, so this is actually quite a big deal. So when you now go camping, it shows you how many days have elapsed since you last rest. You get a report card. So they love these in Japanese
Like at
games.
school.
Yeah, like, A for damage, D for defense, and can you get the old, like, I'm
S
sure there's
for
an S rank.
fishing.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an S rank in there somewhere. I didn't get one. And it's also where you spend your XP.
Right.
So if you're defeating stuff out in the world, you don't spend the XP until you rest at a camp, which is really important. So you have to think, if you want to level up and you're going to go off and see a boss, you've got to go via a camp to sit down, level up and spend your AP points.
So I guess if you die, you lose all the XP unless you've camped and banked it.
I didn't die.
Of course.
Obviously. But that would make sense.
Yeah.
So there are hotels in the world. These cost the most, but give the biggest XP bonus.
Right, okay.
You can then go to caravans. These cost less, give you less of an XP bonus. And then you can do camping, which costs nothing, but your bonuses, and there's a variety of different ones, come from what Ignis can cook.
Okay.
So if you don't have any ingredients on you, you can't really unlock the good stuff.
Right.
Yeah?
So you'll level up anyway, but to unlock bonuses with leveling up, you need to be cooking some good meals.
You need to be cooking some good meals, which means you've got to have more than just toast available.
And how do you get ingredients?
You can
from
gather
killing
them.
monsters and things,
Yeah,
gathering in the
killing
wild.
monsters, gathering. You can also buy them from rest stops.
Right.
And this is also where the astral sphere comes into play. So
The astral sphere.
Yeah.
Is that I'm guessing like the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X?
It is, except it's just abilities.
Right.
So it's not things like, HP plus 100 like it is on Final Fantasy X. So, for example, I can unlock Libra, which we all know is basically scan. And this is where you get AP, and AP is earned through leveling up.
Okay. So HP and stats don't go up through this, and I'm guessing you don't unlock magic through this, so
No.
it's just going to be for abilities.
Yeah, it's abilities.
Okay.
Like I said, Libra was one I think you needed, off the top of my head, it was like 18 ability points to unlock Libra, which was quite high.
Okay.
Okay, so this is like my final one, I think, which was like clothing. How exciting
Clothing.
is this?
Clothing has always been important in Final Fantasy. Can you change clothes? That's what I want to know.
Yes, and we've sort of got an idea of this because I do believe that when you get the Ultimate Edition of Final Fantasy 15, there is some DLC clothing, I think, off the top of my head. So when you start, we're already in what they call the Crown's Guard outfit.
Yeah.
Not the King's Glaive, the Crown's Guard.
Right.
And then you've got Crown's Guard no jacket, which you'll be pleased to know that if Gladio takes his shirt off, he puts on a vest.
Oh, good.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you can have Nox got his black t-shirt, black shirt. Yeah, you can take that off and he literally just wears the black t-shirt,
Okay.
which is quite cool.
Are all the clothes black?
Kind of for the Crown's Guard.
Right, for the Crown's Guard.
However, there's casual. There's also a casual option.
Okay.
And casual, no jacket, if that's your thing.
Yeah.
So, for example, Nox casual, blue jeans, white t-shirt, orange puffer vest.
Okay, so a little bit of
that's
colour
your
then.
thing.
You can have a bit of colour on the clothes.
If that's your thing. Ignis looks really cool. He's in a striped white shirt with braces and blue denim jeans and cowboy boots. He looks really steampunk.
I mean, that is a lot of info we've had, Holly. But
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Before we end the video, there was a question I wanted to ask, which was, it's very different to all other Final Fantasies, but does it still feel like you're playing a Final Fantasy game?
Yeah, and you know what? It felt like 10.
Okay.
10 is where I felt I was making the most connections. I don't know if it's the way the characters were interacting, because 10 had the way the characters spoke to them, that little team that uniformed. This felt like 15 to me. The mixing, the way the magic was used, honestly, it felt like Final Fantasy, because it felt magical, and it felt like I was going on an adventure with people I care about. That's Final Fantasy
That's
to
Final
me.
Fantasy, isn't it? Going on a big adventure with a team of people you really like.
Yeah, that's it. That's Final Fantasy. And I said, it was 10, actually. And even though I play 14, and that has the open world and battle, 10 is where I made my biggest connection to 15.
Wow. Well, I hope that has filled a bit of a void, Final Fantasy fans. Now
Or
the
made it
game is-
worse. I don't know.
but it's just reassuring to know that the game is coming. It is.
I've played it. I've played the first 3.5 hours. I even had to stop myself because I was getting really upset because I was like, this is amazing. And
I want it now.
yeah, Rob refused to go on this press trip, by the way, press trip to London. But Rob refused to go and play it because he didn't want to spoil it. So
No,
I had to take that sacrifice, Rob.
Well, you took one for the team, Hollie.
didn't I?
You had to play a brilliant game for 3 hours. What a shame.
Awful.
But anyway, there is Final Fantasy 15. Let us know in the comments what you think of the game, how excited you are for it, what you think of the changes, and do subscribe, as I imagine we'll have loads more videos on the game on the run-up to release.